Guys, all the cars that you see in these videos are for sale on my website, www.woodsandbarclay.com. Enjoy the video. Welcome back, guys. Today is the test drive day for the 1979 300 SD. And it's been sitting out here all night. It's probably, I don't know, 60, 65 degrees this morning here in Georgia. So we're going to do a cold start. Now the glow plugs on 116 or a 116 glow a lot longer than a 123. So we're gonna have to let these glow. Now if the car is already warmed up, they don't glow as long. But when the car is cold, the light will stay on for much longer. So let's go ahead and let that finish glowing. All right, there we go. See, turn the light on. Fires right up, idling around, I don't know, 800 or so, 850. Now, we do have an idle adjustment here. Now, it's kind of counterintuitive. You press the gas pedal just a little bit, and you turn it clockwise, and that will lower your idle. See, now we're down to like maybe 700. Now if we just press the accelerator a little bit, you got to press it as you're turning, and we turn it counterclockwise all the way. Now you can see we're back up a little bit. So it only does it, 100, 150 RPMs or so. So I've got it at high idle right now because it's cold. And to be honest with you guys, I just leave it in that position. Everything checks out, clock is working. And before we go on the test drive, let's see, what are we at? 327 and 2/10, 327 miles and 2/10. And the clock, it's not set correct. Oh, actually it is. It's like 10, almost 10:25. All right, let's go ahead and back her out of the garage here. And we're gonna go ahead and get out on Georgia 400, and I will show you guys the cruise control and get her up to speed. We'll go through some back roads up here, show the suspension, how that's working, the handling. All right, let me go ahead and open my gate here. All right, here we go. It actually started sprinkling a minute ago, so I put the car back in the garage, and now it has stopped. I didn't want to take it out for a test drive in the rain. Man, it sure is beautiful in Georgia right now. Spring is just hit and all the leaves are coming out. But so the first thing I notice on this car, the steering wheel, it is very tight. There's no slop or play in the steering wheel. And also the original like texture and material around the steering wheel, it feels new. There's no smooth spots on it for, excessive use. Steering wheel feels brand new. It feels nice. I mean, there's only 77,000 miles on the vehicle, so. All right. We're gonna go ahead, get it out here on Georgia 400. We'll get it up to speed, test the cruise control. Right now I'm just checking for the shift points. The shifting is very smooth, it's shifting correctly. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put the climate control on because it's kind of warm. We'll put it down at 65. And guys, all the suspension on this vehicle is new. You need, if you haven't watched the suspension overhaul video, I've completely rebuilt the suspension and it feels fantastic. Yeah, it's very smooth, very tight. Climate control just kicked on. I feel the blower motor has cranked up the speed a little bit, so that's working correctly. AC is cold. This car's already been converted to R134. Guys, as most of y'all know from seeing my other videos, the 116 chassis, I sometimes call it the 116 chassis, from 78 to 1980, this is my favorite diesel Mercedes. They're more comfortable, the build quality is better, the materials are better, the ride quality is better, the suspension is better. Everything about the 116 or 116 chassis is a superior vehicle. A lot of people say this is the last, great Mercedes, or the last classic Mercedes. All right, I just hit the kick down switch to test it through that red light back there, and it did correctly kick down the transmission. I just did it again right there. See how the RPMs dropped? I'm sorry, how the RPMs went up. That's because it dropped a gear. So I'm going to take it kind of fast through these turns here and show you the suspension. Excellent. The 116 handles better than a 126. Let's go kind of fast through these turns here. You see I'm getting up close to 50 miles an hour. The suspension on the 116 is just tighter and it just handles better. It's a better suspension design in my opinion. And you can feel it when you're driving the car. They feel more planted, more solid. Man, this thing handles great. I just took those turns at 50 miles an hour back there. Well, we're starting to get some sprinkles again. Shoot. Well, that's okay. We're going to go ahead and just finish the test drive. It's just barely sprinkling. I just want to get it back in the shop. I don't like having my cars out in the rain, but it won't hurt anything. Yeah, I love 116s. I drove one. My personal car was a 1980 116 chassis 300 SD. I drove that car for 12 years. I think I had 230,000 miles on it. And a gentleman came down and actually bought it the other day, a few months back. All right, I'll wait at this light and then we're gonna get on Georgia 400. While we're at the light, we can see the temperature is perfect. Oil pressure is perfect. The RPM probably about 700. I've got this the RPM turned clockwise, which lowers the idle RPM. If you turn it counterclockwise, it will raise it 100, 150 RPM or so. You can see the clock from where I took the video earlier. It is now almost 12 o'clock, so the clock's working. We'll go ahead and test the sunroof here. Sunroof works perfect. I'm going to put it back up because it's sprinkling. You can see the air dam works correctly. Shuts. Works perfect. All the windows, everything works on this car. All right, here we go. Now, if there's no traffic up here, we can get a 0 to 60 time. A healthy 116 300 SD, around 15 seconds, 16 seconds, 0 to 60. We'll see how this one does. And, it is a turbo diesel. It's perfectly capable of driving in modern traffic. Like I said, this was the car that I personally drove for 12 years before recently selling it, and it's still on the road today. The non-turbos, not so much in modern traffic, but the turbos are just, they're outstanding. There's no issues keeping up with modern traffic. You'll see when we get out here on the interstate. All right, we do have some traffic here. I'm going to do my best to get a 0 to 60. We might have to do it later. All right, go. You guys watch the gauge there. Shift point is perfect. Very strong engine. got to slow down, but there we go. That was 60. Just barely got to it before I came up on this car here. And we do have a little rain. Very healthy 617 motor. You know, I just did the valve adjustment, so this thing's running like a top. And I'm gonna go ahead and test the cruise control here. All right, we have the cruise control set. I'm gonna accelerate with the cruise control a little bit. There you go, it's accelerating with the cruise control. And you can see my foot is not on the accelerator. Excuse the old mat. I have an old mat in here so I don't get the floor mats dirty. And there we go. Cruise control is holding perfectly at 60. All right, let's take it off and get this thing up to speed. You can see the engine temp is perfect. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get her up to 75, 80 miles an hour. Man, this thing drives fantastic. It feels great. All right, we're coming up on, you know, right there at 77, 78. I'll slow down a little. We're at 80, and there we go. She is humming along perfect. I'm gonna have to slow down a little because there's traffic. Let's get over here to the fast lane. There we go. I'll go ahead and put the pedal down here. And there we go, guys. Cruising along right there. I don't know, what is that? Just above 80. Runs great. Smooth as can be, no wind noise. The suspension's tight. This is an outstanding 116 1979 300 SD. My favorite diesel Mercedes. And there's a reason for that, guys. I work on these cars every single day. Everything about the 116 is a better vehicle. Now, don't get me wrong, your 126 and your 123 are excellent cars, but they just don't compare to the 116. They're just not the same vehicles. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get off at the next exit up here, and we're going to do a brake check. Oh, and you can see I'm keeping up with traffic, no problem at all. Just going 75 or so here. I mean, we can pass all these guys if we want to. This car can cruise at 75, 80 from Atlanta to California all day long. And you can see the odometer is correctly turning. I've got it right there about 3,000 RPMs. Smooth as can be. Just a little sprinkles, not gonna hurt the car. We'll get it back into the shop and clean it off. All right, I'm gonna do the brake test now. Are you ready? Watch the speedometer. 1, 2, 3, go. Whoa! Those are brand new brakes. Those are very good. I locked it up just a little. Fantastic vehicle. Engine temperature, perfect. 175, idle, perfect. Oil pressure, perfect. Guys, this is a great condition 116. This car drives fantastic. In fact, I want to keep this one. Too bad I'm not selling this one. I'm keeping it. This is my new car. Just kidding. All right, I'm going to spin around here on 400. We'll see if we can get another 0 to 60 test up here, and then we'll show the 2 test, because the last one was a little tough on that on ramp, and so we'll do that here in a second. Okay, we got a lot of traffic up here. You know, one of the cool things about the 116 chassis is the quartz clock. You can hear it ticking when you're in the car. You know, kind of like a old school. It's just an old school clock, and it's It's such a cool sound. You can't hear it on the 126 or 123, but when you're at idle, just sitting still like at a red light, you can hear the clock tick, and it's just pretty cool. All right, we're gonna try this 0 to 60 here. Perfect. There's no one behind us. All right, we're gonna stop here. Ready, go. I think we're gonna run out of room here, guys. We do have traffic again. Oh well. It's just too busy out here today. We'll see what it did on that last on the last attempt I made. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and press the transmission kick down. Did you see the RPMs jump up? It dropped me down again. Dropped me down a gear. The kick down is working perfect. You know, another thing I noticed on the 116 is the transmissions shift better than the 300 SD, the 126 and the 123. I don't really know what was different. They don't have the vacuum, the same type of vacuum control as the 126 and the 123, and they shift better. Every 116 I've had shifts nicer than the 126 or the 126. And guys, that's not just because I had a bad shifting 126 or a bad shifting 123. The 116 actually does shift better. It's just a smoother shifting. Like I said, everything about these cars are better. See if I can merge over here a lane. They're so much quieter. They're quieter on the inside than 123s also. You know, this is the S-Class. This is the top of the line Mercedes. Whereas the 300D, don't get me wrong, they're nice cars, but that was like the modern E-Class. So it was a step down from the S-Class for sure. And you can tell that when you're driving one of the vehicles. There's a little better insulation in the cabin on the S-Classes, and it's a little quieter in the cabin. Let's go ahead and get over a lane. Blinkers are working great. I just re-engaged our cruise control. We got it set there at, I don't know, what is that? 65. All right, I'm gonna take the cruise control off. There we go. Just so nice driving one of these vehicles. Every time you get into a 116 300 SD, you're not just getting into a car and running your errands. It's exciting, it's fun, it's an experience. Every time you drive it, no matter how many years you've been driving one, it's just a great experience. Even if you're just going to the grocery store or whatever, they're just so much fun to drive, and they're so comfortable. You know, the 116 is actually, I think the body is 6 inches wider on the S-Class compared to the 300D. And that doesn't sound like much, but it is a huge difference when you're in the vehicle. You definitely feel the wider body, especially in the seats. They're just a little wider, more comfortable. Alright guys, that's it for the test drive. It passed with flying colors. I could drive this thing all day. I'm going to take it back to the shop, and I'm going to detail it and clean it tomorrow. put it in the shop under a plastic cover, and when it's not overcast, I'm going to do the walk around video for you guys. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Extremely nice 116. I've taken care of everything on the vehicle. You can watch the video series on the website woodsandbarkley.com. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.